Hello, everyone. Welcome to the InnerView. My name is Bianca Williams, and I am so delighted to connect aspiring girls and young women to yet another inspiring woman. Now, I cannot even explain how highly acclaimed and highly regarded this next guest is by myself, definitely, and by Campaign for Girls. I would like to welcome Miss Sindi Mabaso-Koyana. Sindi Mabaso-Koyana is one of the most influential women in business in both the public and private sector. In 1995, she qualified as a chartered accountant and went on to establish the African Women Chartered Accountants Forum in 2002, leading the way in developing aspiring young Black women who are following in her footsteps. She is a successful entrepreneur and is also a valued member of various boards with a solid reputation for leading with integrity. Sindi is a wife, a mother, and a valued Campaign for Girls mentor. How are you, Sis Sindi? Are you well?
Dear Pila, thank you very much. By the grace of God.
Amazing.
All is good.
Yes. I think I'm going to start with your name. I'd like to start with your name.
Yes.
Where it's from, what's the story behind it? Campaign for Girls really believes that your name embodies who you are and what you're supposed to do with your life. So I'd like to understand your story and how it embodies your name and how it embodies your story.
Oh, that's interesting. Sindi Siwe, meaning saved.
Okay.
Right? So my mom was told by this spiritual healer that when she was very sick, and she said to her, "No, uzopila, uzothola usindisiwe." And at that stage, my mom didn't even know she was pregnant, and so she listened to that, but didn't take it seriously. And indeed, a few months down the line, she was pregnant, and when I was born, she named me Sindi Siwe. And when she realized she was pregnant, she knew it would be a girl because the name Zulu is mainly given to girls.
Yes.
Yeah, so that is how I got my name.
That is beautiful.
It became a heavy burden because it meant I am the one who came to save the family from whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
And how has that been when you look at your life? Do you feel like you've been living up to your name?
Certainly, actually. From a very early age, I ended up knowing that I'm the one who gets things done in the home, who organizes stuff. And very, very privileged to be the one who has had, the lifestyle that actually brings everybody together to things that we grew up not to know, that we saw to be very far, to have been able to take my mom overseas a few times before she passed, and the life that she used to say, I didn't think I would ever live like this. So yes, I do feel blessed. I live with my niece now, my brother's daughter, and it's been amazing to see how by the blessings I've received, I've been able to bless others in the family. And yes, I do believe that the name was a gift for me. And in the end, I've been able to live up to it.
That is beautiful. And so now you're talking about living with your niece. I know you also have a daughter who's a tween, a very interesting stage. What does that remind you of when you look at yourself at that age? And what are the qualities that you see in your niece and your daughter, the attributes that you think that you also have?
Interesting. She's very feisty, very clear what she wants and what she doesn't want. She basically is almost like the voice of the family who would know what goes for mommy and what doesn't go for mommy and tells everybody.
Okay.
And reminds everyone. And I was that young girl who looked at my mother and how much she was fending for all of us with the little that she had. And I looked at her and I knew I am going to bring her the life that she only dreamt of and didn't think she would have. So my girl is that kind of a person, very independent. So that is what she reminds me of. My son, equally, on the other hand, also, very much of a people's person. is the one who wants to bring harmony and wants to make sure everybody around is comfortable, everybody is good. So he reminds me of myself in during their age. Yeah.
Wow, that's beautiful. So you've got a balance. Is it difficult raising a boy and a girl? And when it comes to even your stance, especially, in the line of business and the line of work that you do, I know you feel very, very strongly about women development. There's a lot of women empowerment programs that you've participated in, that you've actually even started. How do you strike a balance to make sure that you uphold your girl, but at the same time you uphold your boy?
Yeah, it's been different and indeed challenging. Probably, yes, hard in the sense that my son, being the firstborn, and as I said, he's more of, he wants to do the right thing all the time and doesn't want to be found on the wrong side of the law, whether the law at home or wherever. And he reminds me of myself. So having brought him up in that manner where, and again, I'm a disciplinarian like my mother, that is what I know better. I've been trying to moderate that because life is different now. So my son basically got the brunt of how I was brought up, because as a new mother, that was my default position of actually, you bring order, as much as I didn't, spank him, I used to pinch him. And once the teacher said to me, "Oh, your son showed us you pinched him."
The bruise.
Oh my goodness. And that for me was the cue. That was it. However, he was the one who understood what naughty corner meant. When I said, "You're going to sit in that corner until I, say you can get out of it." So he would then toe the line. My daughter challenged me because they are different. So yes, he is different, not just because he is a boy, but he's a different person.
Yes.
My daughter is a different person. So what they taught me is that, you need to pay attention to everybody's character and what works for them. So my daughter was the kind of person who always asked for the why. And so she had a very rebellious streak where she wanted me to make her understand, why must I do that? And initially I thought she was, being rebellious. She was challenging me. She was being unruly. And actually, it's interesting because she empowered me, because she used to remind me and say, "Mommy, before you get angry, just hear me out. Just listen to me." And I remember I had to go for counseling.
You needed a therapy session to unpack that
with my daughter. And all the therapist said was that, listen, she is not your son who is you. In always wanting to bring harmony and toe the line. She is asking for good reasons. So you need to win her over. You need to make sense. She'll say, "Isn't that other part of you, Sindi, where you've always asked people, how does this make sense for you to do it?" That's all she's asking for. So she's not being rude. She's not being mean. She is just that kind of a child. Because she won't even just say why. She'll say, "Do I have to?" And for me, that used to push me off the edge.
Yes.
Where we are no longer, our parents, where they'll say, "Yes, you have to because I said so."
Right.
My daughter pushed me off the edge from that, and she empowered me actually, because now I have learned, not just in the home, but even in the workplace, to say, before you expect people to do what you are, leading them towards, give them the why, give them the reasons. So I say to her, she really empowered me.
I can imagine when you bring those kinds of lessons, it must have been very interesting and awakening for you with the experience that you have had in the workplace and everything you've done, and now you've got a lesson that you're actually drawing from home, but you're bringing it into the workplace. How do you deal with those kinds of different characters within the workplace as a leader? And how do you actually manage to navigate and get the best out of someone so that they have to, but they want to?
You know, again, one of the things we need to know as human beings is that, yes, we can have freedom, but freedom comes with responsibility. It means there has to be a level of discipline. I can't also, you can't be everything to everybody, but at the same time, by investing the time and being intentional, where you would spend time with each person, where as an organization, you also invest in programs that tell you what type of a person is Bianca. What are the strengths and the weaknesses? And when we say weaknesses, it's the areas that we need to work on. Everybody has that. And the strengths, what more of this must we give to Bianca because she thrives in it. And when she is not doing so well on the other side, it is because it doesn't drive her. Yes. She's not passionate about it. And but we need to strike a balance, because if Bianca raised her hand to come to this organization and say, I am your financial manager, I am your compliance person, there are some qualities that come with that we still need to inculcate, which we still need to cultivate, because we also can't say, oh yeah, you do not like the control parts of financial management. Maybe you raised your hand and asked to be that, and the job spec was very clear that you do everything. So it is important that we have a balance in that, so that, yes, we work with Bianca on her strengths, but if there's no other, and especially in small businesses, in small teams, yes, we will find a way of supporting you in those areas, but they need to be done. It's like the gym. Yes. I go to the gym, there are some exercises I say to my trainer, I do not like this one. But he says, Sindi, you have asked to work, this is your program. Yes. You want the results, you want to do. So yes. Unfortunately, I know you do not like this exercise. And he'll say to me, okay, take a walk in the gym. Come back. Just take a walk, and then I'm waiting for you to get it done. Yeah. So again, that is that kind of a balance to say, I know Bianca is the one in the team who doesn't like it when we need to work out on the action plan, and we need to make sure we get a checklist for this as a team. But maybe then let's allow them to alternate with somebody else. Yes. Until it gets into the system, because unfortunately it has to be done. Yes. At home, when I grew up, I didn't like the Sunday chores. I was actually going to ask you about your chores. I wanted to really know, listening to how you describe yourself as a parent as well, what were those chores that, you really did not like to do, but you look back on them now and you see how they've actually built on the woman that you are today? So Sunday chores after church, my mom took out the socks, underwear. It was mending day. Okay. Mending day. It was mending day. All right. The shoes to be polished, the shoes to be glued when they started opening up. So those things, I know how to do them. Okay. Today. It taught me to appreciate and not be wasteful. Yes. I am still like that, to the frustration of my husband. Yes. Where he says, let's buy another one. No. It still has some way to go. Yes. Is it like, when there's a Colgate or the toothpaste tube? Cut the toothpaste. Make sure Bianca, you get every bit of it out. I do cut it. Yeah. Yes. And exactly so. And my husband would say, this doesn't make sense. Yes. You're going to go and buy the most expensive bag of tube, but you are sitting here trying to get the last drop of toothpaste out. So I am like that. So one of the things, though, I always remember my mom used to say, poverty is not equivalent to untidiness.
Yes.
Because her house would look very clean and would be very welcoming, even with those very few items in the house. So those are some of the things I've grown up with, that says you can give this old item the list of life, by, I can take a patch of the floor that is wooden, scrape it, and revarnish, because that is what my mom used to do herself in the house, and give it life, instead of going to buy a new one. So I am that kind of a person, and thanks to her, because of that. And again, my husband is the one who says, please do not go and buy stuff for my child at the second-hand shop. And when I've bought something last week and they have lost it, the sense of appreciation, say, we are not going to go and buy a new one. It's still January, and that will be the agreement. If you've lost it, we are going to the second-hand shop. Chances are you buying your very own that you have just lost, actually.
Exactly. So it's important to actually find value and take care of what you have, no matter how little it is.
That is correct.
Yes.
And I believe in recycling.
Yes.
To say, all right, you do not, these shoes are still very new. You've hardly worn them. So maybe let us find amongst our friends who wears the size, and we're going to get the same thing. So I'm a firm believer that the universe actually gives you what you discharge to it.
Definitely. Yeah. So when it comes to your career, you've had an illustrious career. You have served on many boards. You've been an executive partner at Ernst & Young. And you are actually the founding member, the founding president of the African Women Chartered Accountants. And I have been privy, as myself and with Campaign for Girls as well, to have mentorship and to have a lot of involvement when it comes to women within the AWCA and the functions of developing and leading, the aspiring female, Black in particular, chartered accountant. Now, when you look at all of those, boards and all of those functions that you've played, why is it still very important for you to actually make sure that you bring the ones that are coming up behind you, that are coming up after you, into the spaces that you have actually also been able to be in?
Because I realized that the woman I've become is not just because of my mother's doing. It was a community that contributed towards who I am today. It was the principal of the school. It was the neighbors, who would stop by when we're busy standing on the street and say, "Where's Sindi? Uyazuma wako gutula." And that will actually bring me to line. It was, the fact that at high school, I got an opportunity of getting a bursary. I got an opportunity of a neighbor who said to me, they are looking for young girls at the nearby supermarket that had just been opened, the new mall, for stock taking. We know you are doing this accounting at school. And I went, and that was my first job at what you call now grade 10. Okay. To go and do stock counting at the nearby, Umlazi shopping center. Yes. So people who looked out for me. And when I then got the bursary, at high school, because the principal of the school agitated and went to the nearby corporate houses to say they need to contribute in the building of the school, but also in getting bursaries for young girls. I looked back because in that metric, I would not have been able to leave and go to university had it not been for this man who agitated, and that for the kids who are going to pass, can somebody contribute a bursary? So I looked back and I said, if I had not gotten the bursary, I was definitely going to work. You know, I was not going to be able to go to university. So I look at my life and the different breaks that I was given by people who knew me and others who did not even know me. And that is what also then drove me to say, where I can do something for somebody else, I need to make sure that the young girls, number one, know that there's this career called accounting, which I stumbled onto. So I needed to be intentional in going back to schools and say, by the way, do you know this career called, chartered accounting? You need to prepare yourself. So it was that. Number two, the challenges that I had along the way. I felt that, you know what? They don't need to go through them like I went through them.
Yes.
You know, I'm proud to say I passed my CA exam the 4th time. You know, I failed it a few times. And so by the time I got to know what were the challenges along the way, I was energetic and passionate about going back and telling the young girls, this is what you need to look out for.
Yes.
So I am driven by that. I became a chartered accountant, which is known to be more finance, numbers game, but I'm more a people's person. I love people. So I find it in my career to sit on a board and look out, how can we make way of the women in this organization? You know, because people always think, Black people, when we are on boards, the one thing we want to talk about is transformation, and we don't know anything else. I'm proud that I know the funds, I know the audit, I know the risk management, I know the, financial management. In addition to that, I will be the one who also agitates for the human capital issues, because this part is my technical training and this part is my passion. So it's been an amazing balance, which I am proud of living today. It was not easy to live the transformational parts because we were known we don't have the technical depth as Black people, as women. So, having matured in my area of vocation, whilst also struggling, looking out for that young girl, has been an amazing blessing for me.
You've also been in spaces where there haven't been a lot of women. You're part of FIFA, which we already know as soon as you say FIFA, it's soccer, and you think it's a male-dominated area, male-dominated organization. So now you're serving as a chair for the Sugar Association of South Africa. And, you are the first woman to serve there. What is it like for you, and how do you navigate those challenges where there are virtually no women, and now you are coming into a leadership position?
It was hard, and especially, trailblazing, where there had not been many women who had done it before, and people would be wondering, how did you get here? Why are you here? There are very few women who, are going to come and be the audit committee. In fact, there had not been an audit committee chair of FIFA. It was at the height of the governance transformation. People were, it was a self-governing body of soccer people, and you are coming to tell us how to manage our organization, how to manage our money. So what was important in that, in all these different areas, was, even though I was a people's person, in the early days, I had to almost suppress my colorful nature, my people nature, and demonstrate that, I know my craft. And, there's a fine balance there about being authentically me. But I look back today and I do say to our young people who are always saying, you need to be authentically you. Yes, there's a space for that. I love, fun, but you need to earn the respect of the people of where you are. Initially, they need to understand, I've come here to improve governance, which means I do not smile when we are not following the right governance. You are you are non-compliant, it is black, it is white. There is no gray in the area of compliance, in the area of financial management. So those are the things that I needed to demonstrate first and make sure that I know my craft. There has to be depth in what you do. You are very clear about your offering because, yes, I'm here because people are looking at diversity, but at the end of the day, they are also looking at someone who are going to deliver an audit report. They're looking for someone going to deliver a financial report that is correct, that is on time, and that can be relied on by everybody who is looking for a financial report. So those are some of the things that, for me to then break the myths was to make sure, and the stereotypes was to make sure that I can deliver.
Yes.
I can work hard and do the right thing at the right time. So those are the important things, as women, in that, when people are looking for a CFO, yes, they're going to ask for diversity, but at the end of the day, it is a CFO that is going to deliver an impeccable financial strategy. Yes. So that is what a business needs. At the end of the day, businesses must be sustainable. For them to be sustainable, they must be profitable.
Yes.
When businesses must be able to give opportunities to young girls, it means they need to be profitable. So it starts there. So you need to be able to deliver that. And when you are delivering that and say, by the way, in what I do, can I also bring a young girl to sit in the boardroom? Because I'm also proud that I can allow a young girl to sit in the boardroom and observe me, because I'm also not going to be a disgrace to that young girl.
Yes.
So it is hard. It's not easy. It is a balance of saying, when you want to deliver transformation, deliver development, deliver, empowering that young girl, she needs to be able and walk out there and say, oh, wow, I sat in that room and I listened to Sindi telling the men that it ain't going to happen.
Yes. I think what I've really taken from you is much more than I actually thought we were going to get, because it's very clear to me that what I've known of you, obviously, as a leader in business and in all the accolades and the achievements that you've had in your life, I can clearly see the importance of integrity and being self-aware, and how important that is in your journey and how you got to where you are right now. And I think I would really appreciate if you could just have a parting word with our audience, our Campaign for Girls audience, and just leave them with that one last note that you feel like every young girl should hear.
Yeah, what I would say to every young girl is that whilst life is rapidly taking us forward, we've got technology that is making things easier for us. One thing that we need to still continuously work on is self, because this is how we show up. It is important that we know where we come from. Let's never forget our roots, because for me, I know, Bianca, at some point you asked me, when I got to university, how was university life like? I got the sense of freedom, having come from a family where my mom was a disciplinarian and every step had to be known. Let me tell you, once I got that freedom, I never forgot where I came from, because I always remembered that once my mom is not here, what will she say? What will mom say if she found me here, if I did this? And that is what I would like our young women to remember. Some of us may not have mothers. It may be a father. It may be a grandmother. It may be a neighbor that has always cared about what's going to become of you. And it's always remembering that to say, you know what? Where do I come from? Even when I soar and go into the world, I must always remember to turn back and hold the hand of the one who may not have the opportunity that I have. And thanks for the opportunity to speak to these young women.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, there's really nothing more I can say. We have learned so much from Sindi Koyana. I'm looking forward to hearing what other people have got to say and what they have taken away from this conversation. But please do join us again next time. Thank you.